but I can't stay depressed when I remember how I'm blessed. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. In a city of strangers, I've got a family of friends. No matter what rocks and brambles fill the way, I know they will stay until the end. I feel a hand holding my hand. It's not a hand you can see, but on the road to the promised land, this hand will shepherd me through delight and despair, holding tight and always there. Modim anachnu lach. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. It's not that I don't want a lot, or hope for more, or dream of more, but giving thanks for what I've got makes me so much happier than keeping score in a world that can bring pain. I will still take each chance, for I believe that whatever the terrain, our feet can learn to dance. Whatever stone life may sling, we can moan or we can sing. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. Truly blessed and duly grateful. I've got a roof over my head. I've got a warm place to sleep. Some nights I lie awake counting gifts instead of counting sheep. I've got a heart that can hold love. I've got a mind that can think. There may be times when I lose the light and let my spirit sink, but I can't stay depressed when I remember how I'm blessed. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I I've got a roof over my head. I've got a warm place to sleep. Some nights I lie awake counting gifts instead of counting sheep. I've got a heart that can hold love. I've got a mind that can think. There may be times when I lose the light and let my spirit sink, but I can't stay.
I'm done.
How do you feel?
A prayer book would be good for me. Somebody touch my things?
Oh, did I take yours?
I doubt it. Mine is broken to all get out.
The reality is mine is not mine. Mine is whatever one I happen to have up here.
Okay. Oh, I don't have a candle lighter.
Do you want me to start?
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to Temple B'nai Israel, our pre-Thanksgiving edition of Shabbat Services. It's great for us to be here together, both in person and on the stream. Let's turn and greet our neighbors as we say Shabbat Shalom. Let's welcome Shabbat together on page 142. Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ochem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
On page 128, Ma Yafeh Hayom.
Shabbat Shalom, Maya Hayom. Shabbat Shalom, Maya Hayom, Maya Hayom. Shabbat Shalom, Maya Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom, Maya Shabbat Shalom. And on that same page, words of welcome to one another. Hine Matov. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov. U'manayim, oy oy oy, shevet achim gam yachad, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov. U'manayim, oy oy oy, shevet achim gam yachad, shevet achim gam yachad, oy oy oy, shevet achim gam yachad, shevet achim gam yachad.
We turn back in our prayer book to page 120 and 121, Kabbalat Panim. We welcome Shabbat with the lighting of candles. We call to come forward Karen Roth and Gary Ford to kindle our Sabbath lights and to lead us in Kiddush.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generation of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Vahi Arev, Vahi Boker Yom HaShishi. And there was evening, and then there was morning, the sixth day. The heaven and earth were finished, and all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, b'shabbat kodsho, be'ahava uvratzon, hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila l'mikra'e kodesh, zecher l'tziat mitzrayim, ki vanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh hashabbat. Amen. L'chaim. The finest grape juice money can buy.
In all the lands. Let's continue. Let's continue on page 127 as we read responsively. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted.
On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation.
There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others.
On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal.
So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. We're going to turn to page 138 for the singing of Lecha Dodi. We'll be singing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. On the final verse, we'll rise together and face the door to greet the Sabbath bride.
Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat, nekabela. וזכור בליבו אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תפארת ולתפילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת לקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה, בראש מקדם נשוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת לקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי בעורך קומי אורי. אורי אורי שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת לקבלה. בואי בשלום עטר בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת לקבלה.
Let's remain standing as we turn to page 145 on the bottom of the page. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. Together, the possibility of ascent is all the time, even at unlikely times and through unlikely places. There is no place on earth without the presence. On the next page, the Baruch Hu.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake?
Please be seated. Let's turn to page 149 in the middle of the page. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Together, this is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shuvenu, U'kumenu nasiach bechukecha, V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, U'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu, be'orech yameinu, uvahem negei yomam v'layla, negei yomam v'layla. Be'ahavatecha al tasir, mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael.
Please rise.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad, Baruch Shem kevod malchuto, leolam va'ed.
Please be seated. We're on page 154 as we continue together with Via Hafta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם,
Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
On page 157, in the middle of the page. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. Together, the high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages.
Time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
Let's turn to page 160 as we continue with a prayer asking God to protect us from harm, to shelter us in God's shelter of peace, Hashkivenu.
sorrow and pain. Hashkidenu Adonai, Eloheinu Shalom. Behamidenu
On page 162, we rejoice in the gift of Shabbat, Vishamru.
V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat לדורותם ברית עולם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ברית
On the bottom of page 165. In an envelope marked personal, God addressed me a letter. In an envelope marked personal, I have given my answer. Let's rise together for the Amidah HaTefillah on page 164.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Bekonei Hakol, V'zocher Chastei Avot V'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, L'man Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen, Baruch Ata Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah, Ata Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Ata Rav Lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuach Umorid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'rofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Baal Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memit, Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Atal HaChayot HaKol, Baruch Ata Adonai, Mechaye HaKol, Ata Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh, Ukdoshim B'chol Yom Yehallelu Selah, Baruch Ata Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Please be seated. Let's turn to page 175. You are with us in our prayer, our love and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch Ata Adonai, she'otcha levadcha ba'ira na'avod. In the middle of page 177. When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us, we mortals that you take note of us? You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over all your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch Ata Adonai, Hatov Shimcha, Ulecha Na'eh Lehodot. On page 178, we continue with a prayer for peace. Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam. Ki ata hu melech hador, Shalom. Tasim leolam, tasim leolam. We have the words of Hebrew, the words of English, but for the next few moments, we have the prayers of our heart. Say shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Ve'imru amen.
We now continue our service as we think of those in our community and our loved ones who are in need of healing, whether they are in need of physical, mental, or spiritual healing. We take them into our hearts this time of prayer. We turn to page 371 as we continue with our Misha Berach prayer.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the
We are thinking of and wishing a refuah shlema to Eric Adler, David Altner, Sidney Altner, Joe Brickman, Evan Bin, Laura Carlos, Richard Corwin, Mark Edelstein, Mickey Edelstein, Benjamin Edelstein, and Brian Edelstein, Danielle Heyman Feist, Eric Fisk, Sam Friedman, Albert Gart, Bob Gold, Barbara Green, and Buddy Green, Vicky Hano, Kevin Harris, Harriet Kaplan, Lori Cattleman, Hank Corin, Wendy Sugarman Krosnoff, Dr. Sonia Linke, Michael Lynch, Elsa Mikosh, Dolores Munsick, Ruth Poehler, Jane Rifkin and Jess Rifkin, Don Rolander, Liesl Schick, Michelle Schorsch, Jane Solomon and Stuart Solomon, Dr. Cindy Steinman, Pete Tanner, Fred Truex, Michael Verub, Dr. Drew Weissman, and Janet White. If there's anyone else in the congregation that would like to mention the name of someone they're thinking of for this prayer of healing, please speak their name out loud as my eyes meet yours. We take all their names into our hearts, along with those from the thoughts of those at home, as we conclude by saying,
Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha lovotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Well, we have just about reached that season, often described as the most wonderful time of the year. Don't worry, I'm not going to break out into song. This lovely melody, like so many other songs during this time of year, paints a lovely picture of family and friends getting together to celebrate the holidays. Parties for hosting, marshmallows for roasting, hearts will be glowing as loved ones are near. Sounds pretty wonderful to me. And of course, though this is a Christmas carol, it does ring true for us as well. Between Thanksgiving festivities, Hanukkah celebrations, and yes, the occasional office Christmas party, we do see a lot of our family and friends during this time of year. But in reality, are these experiences always as idyllic as the vision put forth in this holiday classic? I submit to you that the prospect of getting together with our family and friends isn't always so bright and cheery. For while I am sure we all look forward to spending time with our loved ones who we don't always get to see, sometimes during these festive gatherings, we remember why we only see these people a few times a year. Whether it is the boring friend droning on about a subject matter which doesn't interest us, the cousin who enjoys the holiday libations a little too excessively and causes a ruckus, or everyone's favorite relative, the one who very loudly desires to share his strongly held political opinions with everyone in shouting distance. Thus, for some, the most wonderful time of the year can be the most stressful time of the year. But when it comes to tense family gatherings, one would be hard-pressed to find a more awkward reunion than the one found in this week's Torah portion. For in Parashat Vayishlach, twin brothers Jacob and Esau meet for the first time in 20 years. You may recall the last time they were together, Jacob was busy outwitting his brawnier brother, tricking him out of his birthright and his blessing. Esau at that moment swore to kill Jacob in retaliation for these deceptive actions. Of course, Jacob fled, and for many years Esau and Jacob were on their own separate paths. Both older, hopefully wiser, both married with children of their own, both leading prosperous lives. But would the bitterness still linger in Esau's heart? Would the wound remain fresh, or would time heal the rift between them? Before the meeting, Jacob sends messengers ahead of him, perhaps to begin to smooth things over. Jacob sends gifts to Esau, hoping to assuage him. But Esau's only response is that he is coming with a 400-man army. For Jacob, there's no way to know what's coming next. At last, the moment of truth arrives. What would happen when these brothers finally meet face to face? The text tells us, Esau ran to greet him. He embraced him, and falling on his neck, he kissed him, and they wept. Now, on the surface, this seems like a lovely moment of a reunification of a broken family, two brothers coming together, letting bygones be bygones. Perhaps stemming from this encounter, Esau and Jacob will develop a loving, close sibling relationship, making up for lost time. Their families will gather together for the holidays, exchange gifts, break bread, generally enjoying each other's company. A nice, happy ending for all. But, of course, it's never that simple. For after they part ways, after this encounter ends, the two do not meet again until their father's funeral. In fact, they seem fairly eager to part ways, especially Jacob. And about that loving embrace, that kiss between brothers, while some rabbis view this as a sincere moment of reconciliation, other sages are less certain. One goes as far to say that Esau was not planning on kissing Jacob, but rather trying to bite his neck. But thankfully, according to this interpretation, Jacob's neck turns to marble, thus protecting him from his brother's vampiric aggression, and also shattering Esau's teeth. So of course both brothers wept. Jacob because his brother still wanted to harm him, Esau because he needed a good orthodontist. While quirky midrash notwithstanding, Esau does not try to make good on his vow to kill his brother. Their reunion is definitely lacking. It doesn't seem like a true reconciliation is realized. But why? Jacob seemingly does all the right things to appease his brother. He sends gifts, he speaks with humility and respect, he doesn't assemble an army. But a close reading of the text will show the one thing Jacob fails to do. He never apologizes. Not once does he ever display any real remorse over his actions. He never takes responsibility for the hurt that he had done to his brother. There is no attempt at teshuvah. What does this teach us? For me, I think about how fraught and fragile family dynamics can sometimes be. Every family has their own tensions, their past battles that have left permanent scars. We don't often have to deal with them if we only see those estranged from us a few times a year. We can exchange pleasantries, a couple small gifts, in between bites of latkes and sufganiyot, maybe even a little fruitcake, though that seems to me less appealing. We can spend the bare minimum of time together and then go our separate ways. But the holidays also present to us a time for potential healing and reconciliation. There's an opportunity for us to attempt to repair a damaged relationship, to apologize to those we have hurt, or engage in dialogue with someone who has hurt us. Will we be able to resolve long-standing problems? Maybe. Maybe not. Sometimes it's impossible to let go of a deep-rooted grudge, but if we don't make the effort, we'll never know. It might have been too late for Jacob and Esau. Perhaps it was too much to overcome. Perhaps Jacob missed his opportunity to have a brother again. But it might not be too late for us. If there is a relationship in our lives that needs work, instead of fleeing from it, maybe this is a time to reconnect. Who knows? Maybe the result will indeed make this a wonderful time of the year. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We turn now to page 586 as we rise for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tekedu l'aliotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'goralenu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu koreim umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, v'ne'emar, v'haya Adonai, lemelech al kol ha'aretz, v'yom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
Please be seated. We're on page 597. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We are in the Shloshim period for the memory of Sid Bolin, father of Steffi Rosenbaum, spouse Ronald. Sid was also the father of Carol and Howard, spouses Pablo and Donna, as well as a grandfather to the granddaughter Alex Sandler, spouse Ethan, and as many other grandchildren and great-grandchildren. We were also sad to hear of the passing of Dr. Brian Rothlein, a special friend to Sharon and Brett Finkelstein. We think of those who have passed away during this last year. We recall the memories of Louis Lederer, Deborah Nader, Ted Ross, Helen Roth, Ruth Jean Oberlander, Mark Enfinger, Alan Beer, Judy Guy Strickland, Carolee Pizzuti, Elaine Miller, Ethan Perry, Judy Fine, Beverly Rosen, Adele Daniels, Robert Pizzuti, Lily Singer, Shelley Foreman, Myron Pulfrey, Robert Sheldon, Beatty Rosenbaum Madnick, Shirley Botkin, Jack Moss, and Linda Fine. We're also observing the yurtzeit this evening of Louis Edelman, Regina Alper, Arnold Argentar, Ida Bakovich, Virginia M. Bernstein, Morris Aaron Chaffetz, Jean Cherniak, Bruce Cohen, Arthur Coleman, Norman L. Corwin Sr., Abraham Einhorn, Solomon Feldman, Merrill Geller, Herbert J. Goldsmith, Evelyn Goodman, Selma Jacobs, Libby K. Wolf Kempner, Julia Klein, Harry Klein, Hannah Feinstein Lazarus, Harry Lerner, Alexander J. Marks, Robert Mason, Gussie Matz, Kurt H. J. Mayer, Israel Namath, Isidore Newman, Leonard Novak, Helen Palkus, Faye Pesner, Nat J. Polin, Max Rodetsky, Lillian Rosenberg, Billy Berman Ruttenberg, Sylvia Schnur, William S. Schwab, Jeffrey Schwartz, Isidore Siegel, Frida E. Silver, Ben Smillig, Pauline Spertus, Muriel Stein, Bruce Strumpf, Marion Tandatnik, Lena Verbin, and Sarah H. Yeager. Is there anyone else observing a yurtzeit saying Kaddish for any reason? Please speak their name. Let's rise together on page 598, Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah ba'alma divra cherutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael bagala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam ol'almei almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shmei d'Kudisha Barichu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata Tush b'chata v'nechamata da'amiran v'yalma v'imru amen. Yehei Shlomo Rabba min Shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav Hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to Israel, and all of the world, as together we say, Amen. Please be seated. It's now my pleasure to invite to come forward one of our temple co-presidents, Denise Kirschbaum, with a few synagogue announcements.
Rabbi, it was really hard for me not to do my own midrash with Jacob and Esau's story. I have my own thoughts about that. Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Cantor. I always love your music, and Eve warms my heart every time you're here. Thank you so much. Shabbat Shalom to everybody here and those of you worshiping from home. For those of you who do watch us on live stream, you are welcome to come up temple and pick up a prayer book if you'd like to follow along. Rabbi's Torah study continues on Tuesday evenings at 7:00 p.m. He teaches in person, but for those of you who wish to watch and participate from home, there is a Zoom link. December 5th, coming up very soon, the Magic of TBI fundraiser. It promises to be a fundraiser. This event will be in person as well as on live stream. You can watch it virtually if you want. When you come in person, there's going to be a dinner, and when Brotherhood does dinner, it's always amazing. There's going to be an open bar. I know that WTBI is making desserts. Promises to be a fattening but fun evening. Jason Albert, who will be doing our auction, has some games in store for us. It's always fun when he's involved. And the real magic is going to take place when we have our magic show with the magician Nathan Coe Marsh. You can go to our website to purchase tickets, and we know it's really going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be the first time we're in person for a really large event, and I know I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody. There is so much more happening here at Temple, so pick up one of the flyers out in the lobby with our coming attractions. Take note that next Friday, the Friday after Thanksgiving, services are going to be on Zoom only, so watch for your email to get the Zoom link. Our oneg tonight is in the social hall, and Shabbat Shalom again.
A lot of good stuff coming up, so make sure to grab one of those pieces of paper outside. December 3rd in particular, that's our Hanukkah, Shabbat, and confirmation service. All of our confirmands are going to be here that evening. It's going to be a really lovely service with our communal menorah lighting. Bring your menorahs and your candles. It promises to be an illuminating evening, to say the least. With all of that said, we're going to do a little motzi.
All right. If you've got a cookie at home, raise it up high. We've got a challah here to bless, and then some cookies in the oneg. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Ose shalom bimroma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, ve'imru, amen. Yadadadadadai, 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 Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, ve'imru, amen. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thanks to Heather and Nico in the booth. Enjoy, everybody. Have a great night and good Shabbos.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat.